How are residents in East Palestine doing?
Well, they're frustrated. They're certainly frustrated by the pace of the cleanup.
Ohio Republican Senator J.D. Vance has also visited that site in recent months. Right after the accident, he posted a video from Leslie Run Creek.
There are dead worms and dead fish all throughout this water,
showing what appeared to be chemicals in the water there. Sampling and monitoring still taking place at that location and others. The EPA administrator advised the public to avoid those creeks in March, but is there anything new you know about those locations or those?
Well, the only thing I know is that the cleanup continues. If you go to East Palestine right now, you will see these giant vats where they're taking toxic water out of the creek bed, putting it in these vats, and hopefully over time the creek will get cleaner. But if you talk to residents on the ground, they still are worried that if they go spend too much time in the creek, maybe they'll start to feel some symptoms, some vertigo, some other issues.
The Ohio Environmental Protection Agency says there is no indication of risk to drinking water in East Palestine. However, the agency warns its data does not apply to private wells and urges residents to have that water tested. Some independent testing has recorded possible contaminants in drinking water.
I think the inconsistencies with those testing reports lead to people using a lot of caution. I think that testing needs to continue, and to a point where conclusive evidence shows that the water is safe. I don't think they have conclusive evidence right now.
Norfolk Southern estimates that its response to the derailment will cost at least $803 million. That money will be used to remove the hazardous chemicals, but does not include funds to compensate the community for any long-term health effects. Ohio lawmakers are calling on the federal government to help out. So this is Governor DeWine requesting from FEMA, and specifically the administration, a disaster declaration, and so far it has not happened.
So far the president has not responded to it, and only the president can do it. It shows this complete negligence. I cannot believe, Bret, that if this town had went 75% for Joe Biden, that he would be ignoring them in the way that he is. But that's exactly what's happened. I think that he sees this community not as a Biden community, and therefore he's not doing anything for it. It is shameful conduct. When you're the president, you serve the people no matter who they voted for, and East Palestine deserves much better from their government.
So you link that. You say it's political.
100%. 100%. There is no chance in hell that if the President of the United States saw this community as a community that supported him, saw it as a foundational for his reelection prospects, that he would be ignoring it in the way that he has. The fact that he can't seem to pay attention to it, I don't see any other explanation other than it is political.
It's an easy deflection to go right to partisan politics. I don't think that's the case here. I will say that I do hope that the president visits at some point, because I think it would be important for the people of East Palestine and the people in the state of Ohio to see our commander-in-chief on the ground, to see the work that's been done so far, and perhaps to have that consideration for the emergency declaration. So I hope he does come.
President Biden said about a month after the derailment, he would visit East Palestine.
And I will be answering.
Nearly every month since those March comments, his press secretary has insisted the trip is still happening.
The plans are underway, discussions are underway, just don't have anything locked in at this time. I'm going to just let the president's word stand. When we have travel to share, certainly we'll do that. The president said it, he's going to go, so he will go. The president intends to go, don't have a time or a date to preview at this time.
He hasn't visited.
One of the more shameful things, I think, of Biden's entire administration is that he completely refused to visit.
Former President Donald Trump is the only candidate who has visited the East Palestine site.
We're going to find time to come back if necessary. If they don't come back and give you the treatment that you need, we will be back.
The former president has not returned since those February remarks. Both he and President Biden have praised a bipartisan railroad safety bill from Ohio Senators Vance and Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown. The Railway Safety Act, how does that factor in? What would make it different as far as transporting hazardous materials?
Well, number one, it would give proper notice to the firefighters who are dealing with these hazardous materials. The second thing is it would increase the safety inspection requirements so that these train crashes happen less frequently in the first place.
We had it at an average of 3 per day last year.
Crazy.
Those are nuts numbers.
Yeah. They're crazy numbers.
While most derailments are not major events, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say more needs to be done.
providing a higher level of rail safety is absolutely imperative, and that's a bipartisan issue.
So for the people living there, your message to them is you're not forgotten.
The people living in East Palestine, number one, you're not forgotten, and you're never going to be forgotten by me. Number two, keep on it, because I can't do my job. We can't hold Norfolk Southern's feet to the fire, and we can't get Washington, D.C. to wake up unless we're hearing their stories.
House lawmakers are expected to head to East Palestine later this month for a field hearing. House Energy and Commerce Committee Chair Kathy McMorris Rodgers says they plan to hear from community leaders and rail industry officials about the ongoing cleanup. Mike, we'll send it back to you.